Hey everyone, this is Jgsf1987. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna make this real brief, just because it is 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know. Anyhow, here's one thing you gotta remember: the whole thing between. Okay, I'm sure you all have heard about this controversy going on with Planned Parenthood. I'm just gonna tell you right now, it is a simple sideshow distraction by the right wing with people like John Boehner, Tom Cotton, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy. Pretty much, yeah. So what you're dealing with right now is you're dealing with you know, bunch of guys with, you know, thinking with their area down between their legs, obviously. So pretty much just ignore them. They what what happened is that there was a highly selectively edited video that was basically posted right onto the internet by a bunch of, you know, anti-women's healthcare groups is how I would refer to anti-abortion groups at this point. They're anti-women healthcare. They're anti-women groups. They don't want women's healthcare. It's as simple as that. They are only trying to, at this point, get Planned Parenthood shut down because they want to deny healthcare to millions upon millions of women, which is like, why? But what can you do? Anyway, these guys. Anyway, this video was highly selectively edited, as I said before. It's very the real version of it is out. It's on my Facebook page and my Twitter feed. I would encourage you to go there. I'll put the links below. And yeah, go into my you'll have an easier time on my Twitter feed. I'll put it that way. Only because you could just go in the photo and video section. You can watch it and I don't know, draw your own conclusions. I'm still going to support Planned Parenthood no matter what, because first of all, besides this being an absolute smear campaign, the way that video was actually obtained to begin with was it was illegal. Granted, what some of the people did say on there does kind of undercut Planned Parenthood's mission overall. And Planned Parenthood does need to do some restructuring, and also they do need to do a they need to get out and just do a lot of outreach, and they do need to apologize, which they did. However, defunding them, that's the distraction area. The overall picture is to basically lump everyone together. Anybody that does anything for women's health care besides abortions. I'm talking about like prenatal care. I'm talking about obst- you know, OBGYN healthcare. Yeah, that's an easier way to put it. Yeah, OBGYN. Obstetrics, gynecology, I don't know. Whatever. I'll put the whatever. You can look that up on Google. Just Google it. So yeah, there's that. Now as for pretty much all you gotta do is just do that, and then that'll be the end of the story. Not to mention, there's been a I also know offhand that there's been a lot of ruckus, going back and forth between John McCain and Donald Trump, actually, concerning some commentary that Trump made. I know what Trump was trying to say. Trump was trying to say that just because John McCain is a war veteran doesn't mean that he's actually a very effective politician. Granted, he said it, that may have been his point, but the way that he presented it in the most bombastically idiotic way possible, he made it as a complete insult to all veterans. Personally, I think that I'm going to go along with John McCain, but basically Lindsey Graham's line, which is saying, Donald, you're fired. McCain basically told The Hill, and they, of course, put it on their page. They put it on their website, saying that essentially, look, we shouldn't be fighting these old battles. I mean, look, I served in Vietnam. Donald Trump didn't. Donald Trump, some people supported the war, some people didn't. Some supported the war but refused to fight. Others fought but then opposed the war. So some fought and supported it, some didn't fight and opposed it. So it's like, whatever. Basically, whatever the position was, this war's over. Let's just move on. And I'm going to say right now, John McCain is 100% correct. This is not something to reopen. It's not worth reopening old wounds. Look, John McCain is a hero in my eyes for the sole reason that he bothered to don the nation's uniform. Granted, he went to the Naval Academy, where his father and his grandfather went. So they had it's basically the military has always been the McCain family business for 3 generations. I may not always agree with McCain's politics, but and he may not be the most effective senator for Arizona, but that's for the voters in Arizona to decide next November or earlier during the primaries. When Arizona holds its primary for the presidency or caucus, they'll hold a state convention or whatever for Senate and for the House of Representatives and also for their state legislature. They'll decide that whether or not they want McCain or not. I'll leave it to Arizona. I'll just stick here to California, which is what I know better, basically, in terms of the Senate anyway. And I also can commend President Obama for speaking up and saying, hey, quit tearing down this guy just because he served this country. Look, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. If you don this nation's uniform, you're a hero. whether or not you decide to do something with it or not. McCann was shot down and he was held as a POW. But at least he tried to serve honorably, and that makes him a hero in my eyes. John McCain also served heroically too in Vietnam. 3 Purple Hearts. McCain, I'm pretty sure, also got a number of awards as well. I don't know what they are. I'll be having to look them up. But anyway, people shouldn't be attacking each other's military records. I mean, it's just like, what's the point? This whole thing of politics or personal destruction, it's getting out of whack. I know how this started. This started within the conservative movement. No, actually, this goes back a long time. Going back to the, even before the Gilded Age. No, it goes back to about, at least between Democrats and Republicans, that goes back to prior to the Civil War. But it got really out of hand in the post-war, Reconstruction and the Gilded Age. That's when it started getting out of whack. It only flared up again, basically, once Nixon took the presidency in 1970. I mean, I'm sorry, back in 1969, actually. Yeah. I know this makes anybody cynical, but our history has also shown that the 2 main parties have been known to cooperate as well and work with each other. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. Being a student of history, it helps. Actually, I don't think anything has really been this bad, I think, since about the Roaring '20s, actually. But this is the worst. Look. When I talk about the right, I'm not talking about people who are just basically to the right of the political center. Those are what I call mainstream conservatives. They're okay. When I talk about the right, I'm talking about like the hard right. I mean like far right. The folks. Yeah. I'm talking about the delusionals on the very far fringes of the far right, actually. That's who I'm referring to. Just to let you know. one thing I can say though is that it's going to get. Here's one thing that I can honestly say. I'm starting to think that with the current political winds, we may end up getting a Republican in the presidency. No, I'm going to make sure that at least that doesn't happen. Only for one reason. That reason is not to put a John Birch style Christian Dominion style theocracy in here, which is the vision of the Koch brothers. We don't need that. However, I'm under no illusions as to what the political winds and the way that they shift. Or it could be another thing like what it was during the Gilded Age, which is where one party largely controlled Congress and the other party was in control of the presidency. Or what we had basically from about the into the 60s, well, or basically from about the, I don't know, from about the 1950s to the 1990s, which was an era of largely divided government. So up until just now, actually, that's an even better way to put it. Then getting, I don't know, about maybe 12 years of united government. Yep, 4 years under Jimmy Carter. Actually, no, take that back. That would be, yeah, actually 12 years. Yeah, because, oh wait, no. Go back a little further. That would be 20 years. Yeah, 8 years of Kennedy, Johnson. Actually, no, make that 22. 2 years for Eisenhower. 8 years of Kennedy, Johnson. 4 years for Carter. 2 years for Clinton. 6 years for Bush Jr. And then 2 years for Obama. But ever since then, we've had largely divided government. At this point, I think we're going to get united government, and I think we're going to get united government for a very long time. United government under the Republicans, and that's not going to change. I'm saying this not because of the arithmetic, which right now is actually favoring the Democrats. But if you look in the Electoral College as it is, the Electoral College, or the makeup as to what's going to be the ultimate decider for the Electoral College, which is who wins what state, that's the electorate. And who controls the majority of where the electorate lives? That would be the Republicans. If they control who votes, what does that tell you? They suppress the vote and they get it down, they win. And they'll do everything damn sure to make sure that it stays down. They don't want another black man. They don't even want a woman in the White House, unless she is the First Lady. Yeah, they want to return to the old white supremacist order, and they're willing to do it now and intimidate people by placing the Confederate flag everywhere. You want this? White supremacy, social Darwinism, basically the late 19th century? Go ahead. Vote for our Republicans. You want more progress? More of what we did during the 20th century? What people like Teddy Roosevelt, Dwight Eisenhower, up until Reagan, what were they doing? A few of these guys. Heck, Eisenhower left the New Deal largely intact. Another person who actually did something about it was who also left it somewhat alone. Not fully alone, but somewhat alone, was Tricky Dick, until it was found out. Ford, I think, did try to do something about it, or at least tried to at least make it somewhat salvageable. But bottom line is Reagan killed it. And every Republican has been like Reagan ever since, which is veto economics, which hasn't worked for 3 decades. Let's just be very clear. And it's been cutthroat, dog-eared social Darwinian white supremacy. Yeah, ableist, sexist, racist, doesn't matter. Hey, as a way of getting out built up rage and aggression. Where's this brought us? We're last among developed nations. Just in terms of social mobility. That's really sad. And in income inequality. We're dead first in the disparity between wealthy and poor. And we have besides having the biggest incarcerated population in the entire world, we're also spending about half of our national budget on the military. It doesn't have to happen this way, but it does. What does that tell you? That is called, ladies and gentlemen, fascism. Anyway, we're calling it that. So yeah, I'll just put my Facebook and Twitter feed down here, and just be sure to also look at my blog for more stuff on the Donald. If he says something even more outrageous, I mean, trust me, this is going to come at threes. I'm just waiting for the third one where he really makes an ass out of himself. Don't worry. It'll be on here. Oh, by the way, 4% off. I actually managed to get a hold of George Lopez on Twitter. Yeah, he was doing apparently some stand-up routine. I don't know. I didn't really catch it. So, but I know he did say something about Donald Trump and whatever. So, no, I said to him, hey, you deserve a boatload of credit for doing that. He's like, oh, nah, I'm just that wasn't really the intention of it, but like I'm like, oh no, trust me, better that somebody does. He's like, What it shows is that there is a massive disconnect between Trump and the Spanish-speaking community here. I'm sure he has Spanish-speaking friends, but that doesn't translate into him getting the Spanish-speaking vote. We'll wait. Because I'm sure that Spanish-speaking Americans are going to make a world of difference. Anyway, this is Jgsf1987. Out.